What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and yes, my voice probably does sound different because I caught myself a touch of the con flu. For anyone who's wondering, real quick, the con flu is a term that's used to describe anything you may catch from someone at a convention, because you've got thousands of people all crammed into one, two, three floors, rooms, buildings, whatever it is. You've got a couple of thousand people. Chances are some of them haven't washed properly, or some of them are sick, and yes, it transfers across. So in my case, I have a horrible stomach illness, we'll call it, as well as an extremely, we'll just call it sore throat. That's the easy way to describe it. Anyway, on to the actual video itself. So this may have happened over the weekend or possibly just today. I'm not 100% sure because I was away at Comic Con, so I didn't get to keep up with much gaming news. But with the release, the announcement of a release date for I Am Bread on PS4, yes, I Am Bread, the game where you actually control a physics-based slice of bread. You know, that's finally coming to the PS4. Now, it's an indie developed game from Bossa Studios, however you pronounce it. They're the company behind, say, Surgeon Simulator. That's probably their main game. They also have Thomas Was Alone, the very, very critically acclaimed indie game as well. But with the announcement of a release date for I Am Bread for the PS4, I've seen major uproar. Now, usually when a new indie game gets announced for the PS4, which is like every 5 minutes at this stage, it goes back and forth. There seems to be like for argument's sake, we'll just say 50-50. There seems to be like a 50-50 fight, and half the people are for so many indie titles coming to PS4, and half the people are against it. Now, real quick, I'm just going to weigh in on it before I go any further. This isn't a comprehensive collective of my opinions. It's just a real quick version of it. Yes, it can be great with so many indie titles, but the way everything is being handled and the way that Sony are handling their own stuff and their other stuff versus the whole indie scene at the moment, I do think it's a bit much. Now, I'm not going to remark on anything else other than that. I'm not for or against indie games for the purposes of this video. I just quickly putting that out there. So the main thing is, yeah, okay, in the past it's been a 50-50 fight. With I Am Bread, it seems to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Almost everywhere I've seen today, and I've literally seen over several thousand comments from varied different places, that the reaction to I Am Bread coming to PS4 is overwhelmingly negative. Now, it's not because of the quality of the game. Like, most people aren't basing it on the quality of the game. I hear it's actually a decent game on Steam, on PC. I haven't played it myself. I have no interest in it. But this seems to be one step too far. Pretty much everything I've seen today has been like 98% of people against it. It seems to me that people are finally getting sick of the whole indie thing. It's been fairly balanced or slightly creeping towards people getting sick of it for the last couple of months, but today was just an overwhelmingly negative response to another indie game coming to the PlayStation 4, especially when we're in a season. I say season, but we're in like a 6 to 8 month period where Sony don't have many, if any. I could have like one or two first party big games coming out on their PS4. So with the exception of, say, the Nathan Drake collection, which I don't even count, to be honest, because it's just a remaster, I can only think of two high or relatively high profile first party games coming out on the PS4 over the next like 6 to 8 months, and that's Until Dawn, which is out the end of this month, and Uncharted 4, which is out next year at some point. So that's obviously not including third party stuff, because the main thing I did want to focus on was the fact that it's how Sony's handling their first party stuff. And I remember back when Jack Tretton was still head of PlayStation, he actually like acknowledged, and I remember him putting out in a statement that he said they knew that AAA first party games were going to be extremely sparse on the PS4 for a few years, and that he hoped indie games were there to plug the massive gaps. Now, I was against that at the time, because I didn't buy a PS4 to play 8-bit pixelated games and cheaply made games. But that's a whole other thing. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying the way he worded it and the way he handled it and the way it's turned out has been iffy in some people's opinion. But because of all that, I Am Bread just seems to have been too much. It's nearly impossible to find a comprehensive list of the sheer amount of indie games on the PS4. Now, this also applies to Xbox One, but I'm mostly just focusing on the PS4 for this video, mainly because I Am Bread, as far as I could find, had not been announced for Xbox One. It may have been, but I couldn't find in any of the releases I read, it was just for PS4. And the fact that a lot of the indie games that come out are PS4 exclusive, console PS4 exclusive, I should say. So, it's also to do with Sony's first party line hurting pretty badly over the next couple of months. So I'm curious. I'm not going to go into I already said I'm not going into the details of what I think of the situations. But what I'm curious, and I want to hear from everyone, is what is everyone's opinion on the indie game situation and the lack of major game situation on the PS4. You can also feel free to chime in as well if you have the similar thoughts or opinions on the Xbox One. I'm also curious to hear those. But again, I'm just using PS4 as my example here. So because you don't buy an Xbox, you don't buy a PlayStation, you don't buy a Wii U, you don't buy whatever just to play third-party games. You buy them for their exclusives, or maybe you only buy one console a generation, in which case you can factor all that in. But you buy them generally to play, for their first-party games, because you can get the third-party games anywhere else. So the reason why I'm doing this the reason why I'm asking this is because you've bought this PlayStation or you've bought this Xbox, and in the situation, we'll mostly go with whatever publisher or developers, be it Sony or Microsoft, is not giving you said games, and they're not providing you with said games, and they expect you to buy their hardware just to play indie games for like 6 or 8 months at a time. I realize this situation might be a little hyperbolic to everyone, but you get the general idea of what I'm coming from. You're generally not buying a AAA game every month on the new consoles, and if you are, fair fucking juice to you, that's all I can say. So let me know in the comment section below what your opinion is on the indie situation and how these companies have made you buy their hardware and have not delivered on for the most part, have not delivered on a software front, that or at least a first party software front, because you can get the other stuff anywhere else or almost anywhere else. So why should you have to settle for their hardware because of it? So let me know what you think about the entire situation, be it the whole indie games flood, the AAA games drought, the third-party games. If you feel strongly enough about the third-party games, you can mention them in there as well. Again, this is for both Xbox One and PS4. I just use PS4 mostly as my example, but let me know all that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel. Hopefully I'll take a day or two off to let my voice recover and come back from con flu. Thanks for watching.